The initial report on the tragic Air India crash in Ahmedabad on June 12 is out in the public domain. Anyone can access the report at the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau's website aaib.gov.in. But a challenge for anyone looking at this report, as is the problem for us journalists too, is that it is riddled with technical terms and acronyms. In this video, we try to demystify and decode some of these terms. A key of sorts to reading the 15-page report, if you will. The entire document is based on a probe that is in accordance with rules of the ICAO. India is a signatory to a global treaty on air crash probes under the body. ICAO stands for the International Civil Aviation Organization. The Convention on International Civil Aviation, also known as the Chicago Convention, was first signed by 52 countries on December 7, 1944. It governs many aspects of the modern aviation system. The AAIB has taken the lead in this investigation. This body in the Ministry of Civil Aviation was set up on July 30, 2012 to investigate serious incidents. The AAIB has the mandate for immediate and unrestricted access to all relevant evidence from any organization without seeking prior consent from judicial bodies or other government authorities. The term VT-A&B also occurs repeatedly throughout the document. This is the registration code of the jet that crashed in Ahmedabad. The prefix VT stands for Victorian Territory and Viceroy Territory, a legacy of the British rule in India. As per ICAO rules, each aircraft must be registered in a country. The registration number has 2 letters as the country code, followed by 3 letters of the operator's choice. The main focus of the preliminary report is the fuel control switches. These switches help power the 2 engines in the jet. Once they are switched on, they are set to be in the run mode. When they are used to shut down the engines, they are set to be in the cut-off mode. And I want to stress again that we have no clarity on how these switches moved in flight AI-171. The preliminary report does not have enough information or evidence to ascertain anything at all. In the section of the report which speaks of the maintenance record of this particular Boeing 787 jet, there is a mention of Special Airworthiness Information Bulletin. It is an information tool used by the US's Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, that alerts, educates, and makes recommendations to the aviation community. These bulletins contain non-regulatory information and general guidance. The report also says that the Emergency Locator Transmitter, the ELT, was not activated after the crash. The ELT's main function is to emit a distress signal in the event of a plane crash. It helps locate the plane. It's crucial in cases where the wreckage is situated in treacherous terrain or underwater. In the report, there's also an image of the vertical stabilizer of the aircraft that detached from the fuselage and was found on the ground. The vertical stabilizer prevents side-to-side motion of the nose of the aircraft, or yawing. On it is the rudder, which is the small moving section at the rear of the stabilizer. Because the rudder moves, it varies the amount of force generated by the tail surface, and it is used to generate and control the motion of the aircraft. The report also mentions the APU. It stands for Auxiliary Power Unit, which is a small, independent engine that plays a crucial role in modern aircraft. Its primary function is to start the main engines and power essential onboard systems while the aircraft is parked. Pratt & Whitney, in fact, designed the industry's first all-electric APU exclusively for the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Next, and very important, is EAFR. There are 2 enhanced airborne flight recorders on a commercial aircraft. On the Boeing 787 that crashed, one was in the tail section and the other was in the forward section. Together, they're called the black box and record digital flight data and sounds in the cockpit. The black box is the holy grail when it comes to investigating what exactly happened in an air crash. There's also a mention of V speeds in the document. V1, VR, and V2 make up the V speeds. So, what are they? V1 is the maximum speed at which a rejected takeoff can be initiated in the case of an emergency. It's also a cusp, because it's also the minimum speed at which a pilot can continue to take off following one engine's failure. VR, on the other hand, is defined as the speed at which the rotation of the aircraft should be initiated to take off. Also called the rotation speed, it can't be less than V1. V2 is the speed at which an aircraft may safely climb with one engine inoperative. This speed is nicknamed the takeoff safety speed. It is the speed which must be attained at 35 feet height at the end of the required runway distance. It is the minimum speed for flight in that condition until at least 400 feet above the ground. We know from visuals of the last moments of the aircraft that the ram air turbine, or the RAT, was also deployed on its underside. The RAT is a small, retractable windmill-like device mounted on the aircraft. It deploys in the case of a complete power loss, which could be caused by electrical failure, hydraulic failure, or double engine failure. It uses the airflow from the aircraft's forward motion to spin and generate emergency power to aid the flying crew. We all know by now that a dreadful word was repeated 3 times by a pilot of AI-171 before it went down. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. In aviation, Mayday is the international distress signal used to indicate a serious emergency. It is an urgent call for immediate assistance, often triggered by situations like engine failure, fire, or loss of control. It originates from the French term Mayday, which means help me. Now, there are 2 things mentioned in one section of the report that we must be very careful about while understanding what happened. There's not nearly enough clarity about these, and we don't know if they had a role in the crash at all. We know that something was logged in the pilot defect report, which was attended to. The pilot defect report is a formal record submitted by a pilot to report any technical malfunction or irregularity observed during a flight. We also know that when the jet flew from Delhi to Ahmedabad, something called STAB POS XDCR was recorded. I would urge our viewers to wait till the final report for complete clarity on it. This refers to the stabilizer position transducer, a sensor that communicates the horizontal stabilizer's trim position to the aircraft's flight control systems. Troubleshooting was carried out by the on-duty Air India engineers, and the aircraft was subsequently released for flight. It may or may not have any role at all in what happened on flight AI-171.